And welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video and hope you guys are having an awesome day. I appreciate you. I want to give you guys an update from Redfin because they just announced their latest housing market update for pending home sales, housing inventory, home prices, and of course, much more nationwide. So I have a lot to share in today's video. Let's go ahead and dive right in. This is a report that was just published on the 22nd of December, very close to Christmas here. Happy holidays for all you guys watching this video here today. So here's their headline here, and let me know what you guys think about this, if you guys believe that home buyers are coming back. And by the way, let me know at the end of this video as well, because I'm gonna be sharing all the data in today's video. So let me know if you guys think that we should be summarizing this video here saying that home buyers are coming back. Let me know. So the typical monthly mortgage payment is nearly $300 less than the October's highs when rates were over 7%. Rates right now are around 6.3%. And because of that decrease in rates, that's causing the average monthly housing payment to decrease by $300 per month. And therefore, because of this is bringing some home buyers back here. Again, after watching this video and sharing the latest trends, let me know if you guys formulate that same conclusion here. So average mortgage rates declined for the sixth straight week to 6.27%. That's based on Freddie Mac's weekly survey here. But this is on par with rates we're seeing right now, about 6.3%-ish. And because rates have decreased from about 7%, now they're about 6.3%, average monthly payments are decreasing by about $300 per month. It says here the typical for sale house, in other words, the typical house that's for sale in the US was listed for 39 days before going under contract. That's days in the market, or DOM, is 39 days right now. This is the longest period since August of 2020, though, which is obviously contributing to an increase of housing supply and obviously contributing to the biggest supply increase on record. In other words, because it's taking longer for houses to sell, that's increasing housing inventory right now, and the biggest increase in supply on record, according to Redfin here. And it says here the combination of slowing price growth. Another way to say that is decreases in home prices ever since June of this year. But on a year-over-year basis, yes, it's a slower price growth. Lower mortgage payments and homes sitting on the market for well over a month is making the market a bit more favorable for buyers than it was this fall. And some are starting to return. Some buyers are starting to turn to this housing market. So according to Redfin here, mortgage purchase applications were up by 4.6% from 1 month ago. This is based on the MBA's, or the Mortgage Bankers Association's weekly update here. But if you actually look at mortgage applications compared to 1 year ago, applications for home purchases are down a whopping 36% from the same week 1 year ago. So even though applications are up by 4.6% from 1 month ago, they're still down about 36% from 1 year ago. Redfin's Home Buyer Demand Index, which of course is an index which measures requests for home tours and other home buying services by Redfin agents, according to Redfin here, was up 6.5% from a month ago. However, though, when looking at this Home Buyer Demand Index, it's down about 24% from 12 months ago. Redfin goes on to say the following here. The uptick in early stage demand hasn't translated to more pending home sales or new listings. Home sales aren't likely to tick up until mid-January, partly because the holiday season is typically slow and new listings may not start recovering until spring, according to Redfin's economists. So let's now talk about home prices in the US, and then I'm going to be talking about some early indications of home buying demand and what that could mean for our housing market in the months ahead. And then I'll give you the latest housing market trends at the end of this video here. So let's talk about home prices right now. Home sold prices fell year over year in 14 of the 50 most populous US metros. So out of the biggest 50 cities in the US, 14 of those are reporting year over year declines in home prices. Which is pretty astonishing because this basically means that approximately 28% of the biggest 50 cities in the US have declines in home prices on a year-over-year basis. What's remarkable about this as well is that 14 cities right now reporting decreases in home prices on a year-over-year basis. 1 month ago, there was only 5 cities that reported decreases. And here are the 14 cities that are reporting decreases in home prices on a year-over-year basis here. So in San Fran, home prices decreased by 9% on a year-over-year basis. 6.2% in Pittsburgh, 5.8% in San Jose, California, 4.7% in Los Angeles, 4% in Oakland, California, 3% in Detroit, 2.2% in Austin, Texas, 1.9% in Sacramento, 1.8% in Phoenix, 1.1% in Chicago, and also they declined by less than 1% in Riverside, New York, Seattle, as well as Anaheim, California. This also marks the first time New York home prices have fallen on a year-over-year basis since June of 2020. Additionally, the price declines in Los Angeles, Pittsburgh, and Phoenix are the biggest since at least 2015, as far back as Redfin's data goes. Now let's talk about some early indications of home buying demand and the implications of our housing market in the weeks and months ahead here. So let's talk about mortgage rates right now, which today is the 22nd of December here. Average rates according to the Mortgage News Daily is at 6.28% for the average 30-year fix for people with exceptional credit, of course. So 6.28%, this is approximately 1 percentage point less than the year-to-date highs that we saw back in October 20th of this year when rates were at 7.37%. Now they're approximately 6.28%. And also compared to 1 year ago, average rates have increased approximately 3 percentage points because 12 months ago, rates were averaging about 3.2%. Also, Redfin's Home Buyer Demand Index increased 6.5% from 1 month ago, but was still down 24% from a year earlier. And here's a chart showing their demand index over the past couple of years. So again, year over year, down by 24%, below levels in 2020 as well. But their demand index has been increasing more or less ever since really mid-October this year. Redfin is also reporting that fewer people are searching for homes for sale on Google, down about 30% from a year earlier. Also, touring activity is down big time as well, down about 50% compared to the start of this year, compared to a 27% decrease at the same time last year. Let's actually look at the most recent trends though, because that was for the week ended December 18th. Let's look at data through December 21st though. So this is a touring activity by real estate agents showing houses that are for sale to their home buyers nationwide, actually not nationwide, across North America here. So for the week ended the December 21st, home showings are down 51.8% compared to the start of the year this year. Compare that to 2021. At this time, we were down 31% compared to the first week of 2021. And also in 2020, we were down by 21% compared to the start of the year in 2020. So down 51.8% in home showings across North America right now. So one thing that's important to note is that even though Redfin's Home Buyer Demand Index has been increasing for about a month, when looking at home showings across North America, according to Showing Time, it has been more or less on a downward trend really ever since more or less June of this year. So we've been seeing fewer real estate showings across North America ever since mid-July of this year. Okay, let's change gears slightly and talk about the latest housing market trends we're seeing right now regarding home prices, housing inventory, and much, much more for the 4 weeks ended December 18th, according to Redfin here. And this is for 400 plus US metro areas in the US, of course. So the median sold price in the US was $352,000, only up 1% on a year-over-year basis, the slowest growth rate on a year-over-year basis since the start of this pandemic. Here's a chart showing the median sold price in the US from Redfin here. Again, at $352,000, that's only a 1% increase compared to 2021 this time. And by the way, compared to 2021, at this time, we were up by 14% compared to 2021. And back in 2020, we're also up by 14%. And compare that to 2019 this time, we were up by 5% compared to the same month in 2018. Now here's something else you guys should also be aware of as well, because right now at 352,000, the all-time record highs was right here at 391,000, more or less in June of this year. So home prices, or the median sold price in the US, has declined by about 10% since June of this year. What's wild about this is that this 10% decrease we've been seeing since June of this year, if you compare that to 2019, during that same time frame, home prices only declined by 2%. Let's go back to Redfin's report right here. because they say here the median asking price of newly listed houses only increased 3.6% on a year-over-year basis, the slowest growth rate since the start of this pandemic here. Also, the average monthly housing payment is down about $267 per month from the highs we saw back in October, because rates right now are about 6.3%, and back in October, rates were actually over 7%. Now, having said that, housing payments are still up about 36.5% from a year ago. And here's a chart showing just that. Average monthly housing payments up by a 36.5% on a year-over-year basis here. It has been declining ever since more or less October this year, but compared to 1 year ago, up big time, up by about 37%. Meanwhile, pending home sales were down 32.6% on a year-over-year basis, one of the largest declines since at least January 2015, as far back as Redfin's data goes, down 32.6%. However, though, look at this, it's just laughable. So look at this. Pending home sales, according to their data center, are down 37.07%. So I don't know if it's 37% or if it's down 32.6% on a year-over-year basis. Let's just say it's down over 30%. By the way, if anyone's watching from Redfin who's watching this video, let me know why this number right here does not agree to your data center's website here. This is the second week in a row where pending home sales were different for their weekly housing market update compared to their data center. Anyways, let me know if I'm missing something, but it's just kind of laughable. Anyways, among the 50 most populous US metros, pending home sales fell the most from 1 year ago in Las Vegas. Look at that. Las Vegas pending home sales down 64%. That's absolutely insane. So 64% fewer contracts being signed between buyers and sellers from a year ago. Phoenix down by 58%. Also down by 58% in Austin, Texas. Jacksonville, Florida down by 55.7%. And Portland, Oregon down by about 54%. Let's also talk about new listings as well as housing inventory in the US. So new listings were down 22% from a year ago, one of the largest declines since the start of this pandemic. Meanwhile, active listings, which of course is the number of houses listed for sale or housing inventory, were up 17.3% from 1 year ago, the biggest annual increase since at least 2015. Also, the month supply is at 3.7 months, up from 2 months a year ago. So 1 year ago, the month supply was only 2 months. Now it's 3.7 months. Let's first discuss new listings, because again, new listings fell 22%, below 2019 as well as 2020 as well. So for the 4 weeks ended December 18th, there was approximately 47,000 houses that were listed for sale in the US. Compare this to 2021 this time, there were just under 61,000 houses listed for sale. And back in 2019 this time, there was approximately 56,727. So the number of new listings right now at 47,000 are below levels in 2019 through 2021. Here's also a look at active listings according to Redfin. So active listings are up by 17% year over year. And I don't know why this does not agree to AltosResearch.com or Realtor.com, because both those companies are reporting gains of about 50%, or actually over 50% from a year ago. So Redfin's only reporting gains of about 17.3% on a year-over-year basis. And here's a look at the month supply over the past few years. The red line right here is 2022, the blue line's 2021, and here's 2020 in gray. So the month supply right now is at 3.7 months. 1 year ago, the month supply was only 2 months. So the month supply has been increasing big time ever since really May and June of this year. Something else worth noting here is that the month supply has more or less doubled since April this year, when the month supply was around 1.7, 1.8 months. So the month supply has more or less doubled since the spring months of this year. Also, approximately 28% of all pending home sales went under contract within the first 2 weeks of the house being listed for sale. So within the first 2 weeks of the house being listed for sale, the seller accepted an offer 28% of the time. This is below levels in 2021 as well as 2020 though, because at 28.4%, last year at this time, the ratio there, or the share there, was at approximately 35%. Let's also have a look at how fast or how slow houses are selling in the US. So right now, days in the market is at 39 days, more or less than 39 days. This means that it's taking approximately 10 days longer to sell a house right now compared to the same time period in 2021. Because back in 2021, this time, days in the market was approximately 29 days, and right now it's about 38.7 days. This also means that days in the market has more or less doubled since June and July of this year, when days in the market was approximately 20 days. Redfin is also reporting that approximately 24% of all houses that sold or last month sold above the seller's final list price. This means approximately 76% sold at or below the seller's asking price. Also at 24% right now, this is well below 2020 as well as 2021, because back in 2021, this time, the share was actually over 40%. So at 24% right now, this is on par with levels we saw back in June and July of 2020. Speaking of houses selling over the seller's asking price, let's have a look at the average sale price to final list price ratio. I emphasize final because this basically excludes price reductions. So they're looking at the final asking prices compared to the sale price. So that ratio there is 98.2%, meaning on average, houses selling for about 2% below the seller's final asking price. This is much lower compared to 2021, because back in 2021, this time, houses on average were selling for approximately the seller's asking price. And of course, this ratio at 98% right now is much lower than the levels we saw back this spring, when houses on average were selling for about 2% over asking. Now again, they're selling for about 2% below. In regards to price reductions, I want to give you guys an update from altosresearch.com, because according to them, look at this. The share of price reductions in the US for the 4 weeks ended December 16th is at 41.23%. So 41% is the share of price reductions in the US. This means approximately 4 of every 10 houses listed for sale right now have reduced their asking prices. One important thing to note here is look at this, because the share of price reductions has been more or less decreasing for the past few weeks now. The share right now at 41% is more or less on par with levels we saw back in the end of September, when the ratio was also 41%. But also compared to 12 months ago, the share was about 26%. Now it's 41% nationwide. In 2020, it was about 25%. And pre-COVID back in 2019, the share was about 31%. And with that said, please comment below with your biggest takeaways from today's video. Also, if you guys got any value of this video whatsoever, then please hit like button. I greatly appreciate that. And also, I appreciate you. Hope you guys have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.